Welcome, beautiful souls, to Feminine Power, the She-Volution podcast. I'm Eva Simone. I'm so excited you're here. This podcast is a space where we're going to break free from the limitations that hold us back. Embrace our feminine power and create lives we absolutely love. We are in a She-Volution, a revolution of self-discovery where women are rising to their full potential, claiming their power, and rewriting the rules of the game. This podcast is your guide, your cheerleader, and your compass on this journey. We'll explore together the depths of your feminine wisdom, unlock your inner strength, and ignite the fire within you to create a life that is aligned with your soul's purpose. Get ready to tap into your next level self, embrace your unique power, and unleash the extraordinary woman you were born to be. Welcome to Feminine Power, the She-Volution podcast. Today is one of the most amazing days because I have a woman on with me who is powerful. She's a mother. She's a wife. She is an amazing woman. She is even a mother to 2 wiener dogs. And I am so happy to be here with her. Her name is Lyndsay, and Lyndsay, I don't want to destroy your last name, but pronounce it for me.
Dowd. Easy.
Dowd. Okay, I was going to say that. But I want to tell you a little bit about Lyndsay. Lyndsay is a powerful woman. She is the owner of the Heartbeat for Hire, where she's doing some amazing things. And I have my notes here because I don't want to miss anything. She has a book called Top Down Culture. She's even been on a billboard in Times Square. So I'm just super excited about her. But hold on, there's more. She's been featured in Apple News. She's a speaker. She's a podcast host. She's an accomplished leader, a decorated seller, and devoted to a career of transforming leadership. And she's creating cultures that are, in my opinion, healthy and fun, where people can feel like they're seen and heard and felt. Welcome so much. I'm so happy that you're here, girl. I'm excited about all the things.
Eva, I'm thrilled to be here. This is such a treat. Thanks for having me.
My assistant, I told her, I said, I want women who are, I'm just going to say it, they're badass in their field, who are showing up and doing the thing based on how it was put in their heart and their soul, and they're doing it, and they're saying, hey, world, heart, I'm coming through. How did you get on this journey, my friend?
Well, first I'll just say, I spent 25 years in corporate America where that, you climbed the ladder, you did the things, you followed the rules, you played the game. I was often the only woman on all male teams, and I didn't have a ton of female role models because they just didn't exist in sales. So I spent 23 years at IBM and, had some amazing leaders and had some not so amazing leaders. And after 23 years, another company sought me out and said, come on over, would love you to lead a sales team for us. And I said, okay. And I packed up my big blue legacy and off I went. And in 6 short months, they fired me.
What?
And I was gutted. I thought I was the only executive on earth to ever be fired. I thought no one would ever want to work with me again. I thought I had a scarlet letter on my chest. And for a month, I couldn't talk about it. And when I finally got up the strength to look at myself in the mirror, I asked myself 3 questions. I said, what am I really good at? What do I love to do? And how can I help people the most? And I knew how to build modern leaders, and I knew how to create irresistible culture that drives results. And so I said, I'm going to invest in myself. And I started my company, Heartbeat for Hire. I started coaching C-suites and individual executives. I started keynoting. I started a podcast, which I knew nothing about. And I wrote my first book, as you said, Top Down Culture. And then I wrote my second book, which was Voices of Women. And, yeah, it's been wild. And then just recently in October, I took the role of Chief Revenue Officer for a company called Entry. And so now I'm still doing all of those things and speaking and podcasting. But I'm really focused on helping job seekers, the 360-degree view of job seekers. And we can talk about how we help and the kinds of things we do, but it's still very much on brand with who I am at my core, and how I want to move through the world. But yeah, a lot of people need help, and I'm a storyteller. So this is all good stuff. So it's really fun to be here with you sharing it all.
As you're sharing your story, I feel like there's a rocket of fire like under me because I'm like, yes, girl, yes. You took something that was so painful
Yeah.
and you turned it into something so powerful.
Yeah.
Many people can't even go there
Mm-hmm.
because they see it then as a strike against them,
Yeah.
and then they carry that with them for years and years and years to come.
Yeah.
But I always say it's not what happened to you. Sometimes it's for you
Oh, yeah.
to
I
go to
agree.
that next level. Tell me what it was that you were like for a month that you couldn't even talk about it. What was happening on the inside?
Well, there was so many things I questioned about myself, like how could I have read the situation so wrong? What could I have done differently? Why did I leave when I had all that decorated, legacy behind me? And a lot of shame and embarrassment. And, when I first got up the courage to talk about it, I would say things like, I'm not at that company anymore. I wouldn't say anything more than that. And then I finally got to when I had some friends who I knew believed in me. I'm like, I got fired. And they're like, you don't get fired. What are you talking about? And that disbelief was very heartening for me because I was like, yeah, that's right. I don't get fired. And it was seeing myself through other people's eyes. And I have a friend, Rachel Druckenmiller, and she sings this song and she says, if you can't believe in yourself, cling to the belief that others have in you. And that really carried me for a little bit. And what I learned and what I started to use as my power is that I started to share, your circumstances don't define who you are. Getting fired did not take away all of my awards. They didn't take away all of my recognition, my history, my pedigree, all the things that I knew, the first of a kind businesses that I started. All of that was still mine. And no one could ever take that away. And when I started to kind of remember that, and a lot of friends were reminding me, no, you're a badass. And it was not the right thing, but it was the absolute right thing for you now because it shoved you out of the nest and it's making you do things you never thought you could, would, or should.
Yeah.
And that, I think I'll be grateful forever for that experience. I hated it and I'm still not a fan of how it went down. But it was a total gift. I think back, I had an advisor who was like, you're going to start a podcast. And I'm like, what? I'm not a journalist. What are you talking about? And he's like, go buy a microphone and start. I'm like, okay. He's like, I'll help you with your first couple of guests and then you're on your way. Well, that was 132 episodes ago. And I haven't missed a week since I started. And it has been a joy. And I absolutely love it. And I get to tell amazing stories just like you. So yeah, I would never have done that. I would never have written a book if I was still in corporate. I would have been climbing the ladder more, taking on more stress, taking on more, corporate whatever.
You
So
know, as you talk about that, all of the things that happen to you that are so good, that are so powerful, that pushed you forward in a way that you didn't even think was possible, it wasn't even
no,
in the energy of possibility for you.
not
And
at
you're
all.
on a different path and you open yourself up to possibility. And it looks like you're thriving in a way that is more profound than you thought was possible. And I hate to say that, sometimes corporate world is pretty toxic.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And that was why I wanted to build that business because I lived through some crazy, terrible leaders and I had some amazing leaders that I wanted to shine a giant light on. It needs an overhaul. And it's funny, I was commenting on something the other day. somebody wrote a post about returning to work, and I was saying that, that is not how you get results. That is not what drives people to perform. And I said, what drives people to perform is when you create trust and you create psychological safety and an environment for people to thrive. And someone commented, and he was like, whatever, I hear that all the time. So boring. And I was like, I'm glad you're hearing that all the time, but I'm not seeing the change yet. So it's good that we're notching up the dialogue because it needs to change, but it's not like pervasively known that leadership is not micromanagement. And there's plenty of people out there that still believe micromanagement is the way they're supposed to lead.
Yes. Okay, well, I gotta stop here. I got something to ask you. Sometimes these things just come through me. You said that you're an executive, and you are the only woman who is sometime in the room.
Oh yeah, many times.
So what was that like as a powerful woman? Sometimes when we're in the energy of men, it makes us go into this masculine energy, lead in a certain way, and we totally like separate from that beautiful feminine energy. Can you talk a little bit about that?
100%. Yeah. I mean, my examples of leadership were guys who thought that the best way to lead was through sports analogies. And if you tell me that the game last night and on the 20-yard line, there was like, what? Don't care. Didn't watch it. Not inspiring to me. Now, if you tell me that someone survived a spinal cord injury and he's back playing, like that I'm interested in. That inspires me. But when those were my only examples, I played the male game. I talked the way they talked. I modeled the behavior that I thought they wanted. I was not myself. I was not authentic at all. And it wasn't until I had a couple of really amazing female leaders who were so inclusive. And one of my favorite leaders, her name was Adriana. When she promoted me twice. And the first time she promoted me, she said, okay, so how do you want to run the business? And I went, me? You want to know? Like, you think I have something to add? And she's like, well, you've been here longer than I have. You know this business better than I do. Hell yeah. Tell me what you want to do. I'm like, oh my God. Well, wait, I've got to go talk to my team. I got to go give me 24 hours and I will give you all the things. And so that was this moment of incredible faith and trust that she had in me. And once I had that, I was unstoppable. And I was encouraging my team to do all kinds of weird things. And she gave us the safe space to do it. And as a result, we killed it quarter after quarter. I mean, for like 18 quarters in a row, like it was impressive. And
wait. Let's stop for a second and give you some props. And you said her name is Adriana? We're going to give both of you guys some high fives. 18. You're unstoppable.
Yeah. I mean, so
my eyes almost crossed just then.
No, that can't be right. But let's just say it was the entire time I worked with her. So let's say over the course of 3 years, so like 12 quarters in a row. It's still impressive. And she gave space to all of her leaders. And she did something once, I'll never forget this. She said, so Lindsay, we have a sales meeting in Denver. I'm inviting our HR partner. And I was like, why? And not that I doubted her, I just never heard anyone do this before. And she was like, well, how can he be proactive if he doesn't know anyone on our team? Like how can we expect him to do anything different than what he's already been doing? If he's just off on the sidelines. I'm like, oh my gosh, why hasn't anyone else ever done this? This is terrible. And so she just had this wisdom and this bravery to try things that were different. And she just taught me so many great things. And we're still very close friends. And, I always look to her as a mentor. And, when you get to work for somebody like that, you understand how it should be. And my team had so much space to be creative.
Yes.
it was a beautiful environment to be a part of.
Okay. Something just came through again. Space, having the creative space to do
Yeah.
things. Because one thing that I've recognized, even when I'm speaking with my assistant, when I support her and
Mm,
hold her in the energy so that she can feel like she can be creative and
100%.
she has that space to think and to, she's not feeling well, take a break. We'll come back to that later. Tell me about that. When you were in that
Mm,
energy where you could be creative and you could think and you felt supportive, what does
mm.
that do for a woman who's leading?
Well, I'll tell you another story from a different leader because
Tell
this
me.
is right along the same vein. So, I was a client exec for a really, really large accounting firm that you know of, and I had a $150 million quota, tons of pressure, team of 55 people,
Okay.
and my boss, my new boss, I was presenting to her what my plan was. And, I was really trying to be detailed and thorough and take her through all the things that I wanted to do. And we're about 2/3 of the way through the presentation. And she goes, "Girl, I've got your back. Now fly." And I went,
Oh,
and it took my breath
at
away.
the same time.
And I went,
Oh,
this is a woman who believes in me. And if I
oh,
fail, she's got me. So I
oh,
turned to my team and I was like, you guys,
oh,
what haven't we done? Who haven't we talked to? What haven't we tried? Because we've got an executive who is ready to support us. So let's
oh,
go be creative. And you know what? We crushed it. Crushed it. We sold the
yes.
biggest deal we had ever done between the two firms. This customer was so complicated because we were each other's clients, we were each other's partners, and we were competitors.
Oh boy.
So there was strings attached to everything we did and very high visibility. My CEO was involved with their CEO, and I had to prep her every time she wanted to do anything. So this was not a small job, but to have someone have that belief in me, I was able to extend that to my whole team, and that's what enabled us to do really incredible things. And I never forgot those words, and they still give me goosebumps
It
to
gave
this
me
day.
goosebumps.
Yeah.
Because, when you said that, it really opened me up. It expanded me in a beautiful way because sometimes, especially when you are at the top of anything, it's lonely.
Yeah.
And it can be lonely and it can also be scary because you're thinking, oh my God, I'm it. If I mess up, I'm it.
Yeah.
And to have someone to support you and to put those proverbial loving arms around you, and not that you need someone to babysit you all day, but just to
It's
know, hey,
belief. It's belief and faith and trust. And your people are going to screw up. They're going to make mistakes. But how you celebrate failure, and I say celebrate failure because it's an opportunity to learn. It's an
yeah,
opportunity to grow. We don't grow from the success. We grow from the failures. We grow from the no's. We grow from the ways that we're knocked down
yeah,
because we say I'm not going to do that again. And when you have a leader who gives you space for that, and says, if I delegate something to you, it's on me if it goes sideways. Not enough leaders do that. They really kind of, she screwed up. She just totally got it wrong. She didn't have all the information, and I won't let her do that again. Well, that's
because they're trying not to get dirty, right? They're
a
trying not to
crappy
get,
way to lead. Yeah, you got to say the opposite. You got to be like, nope, that's on me. I didn't give her everything she needed,
yes.
and we've learned, and we won't make that mistake again. But I'm going to take the lumps for that.
Yes. Oh, that's so beautiful. That's such a beautiful story. I'm going to take you back to 15-year-old Lyndsay.
Mm. Oh, poor
15-year-old
thing.
15-year-old Lyndsay. Lyndsay trying to figure it out, and Lyndsay now. Let's talk about that those years in between of nurturing yourself and expanding and being, having enough courage to step out there and to even say, I'm going to climb to the next level, even if it's just, I don't know, playing a video game for 10 more seconds. What was it like when you look at 15-year-old Lyndsay? Would you grab her and hug her and say, hey, we did a good job?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I look back And my kids are 16. I have 16-year-old twins. So, I very much can relate to that space. And I was a theater kid. So my happiest place was on stage. And whether it was dance or singing or drama or improv, which I absolutely loved, there was always something new to learn, to discover, to play, to try. And when you're brought up in that space, you become, a little numb to how scary it might be to others. You're like, oh, I'll try it. Oh, yeah, why not? Yeah, I'll try it. And oh, that one didn't land as well as the other one. So I wasn't afraid of doing those things. I think, a little like, oh, if I pursue this theater path or this acting path, I know that's a hard road, and I don't know if I'm here for that. And that was what brought some doubt into my mind, because I grew up just outside of New York City, and we had a ton of people that were very, very famous, and they had agents, and they did commercials and plays and you name it. So when you see all of those people and you see what they're doing, you're like, oh, well, maybe I could do it. Maybe I don't. And I didn't have enough belief in myself that I could.
I get it.
So I can't ding myself for it because the journey
Oh,
brought me here.
here.
But it was fun. I love doing all that stuff. So I still, I mean, my daughter is big in theater. And so I get to kind of watch her move through a lot of the same stuff that I did, only with way more talent. So it's really fun to see.
And that's so beautiful because you're like, yes, I took that where you're still using it right now. You're on the stage. You're on the stage of life
Mm-hmm.
every single day, moving and shaking and blossoming in such beautiful ways. If you can do one great thing today,
Mm-hmm.
that you're like, in this moment is so special. It's so beautiful. It's so magnificent. What would you say to Lyndsay right now to expand her in a whole new way that she's like, uh-huh, yeah, I'm doing that.
I mean, it was interesting because this conversation came up earlier in the week when we were talking about what's your word for 2025.
Oh,
And I actually did a post on it because I couldn't remember my word for 2024. So I'm like, that's not a good thing. I need to come up with a word I actually will remember. And so I crowdsourced it, and I was like, for those of you that know me, what would you pick and what's yours? And so I got some really great responses, but the word that I chose was unstoppable. And
yes.
I don't know, the last few years have shown me I can do anything I put my mind to. Um,
Yes.
and this is a real year that has to be focused on growth and, what I'm building with Entry and helping job seekers. The big thing is, building some really important contracts with some companies that want to take care of their executives that they have to either riff or lay off. That would be really meaningful to me. Also working with job seekers and resume writers to help them with their businesses so they can help more job seekers. So it's like there's lots of tentacles kind of all coming from the same place.
Yes.
We've got like 4 different ways to help job seekers, and that's kind of the moment that I'm in right now. So really making that kind of work and help a lot of people along the way.
My son was he was on LinkedIn yesterday listening
Oh,
to
good.
something that you were talking about. Because I said to him, hurry, 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 she's going to be on so you can listen. He was like,
Oh,
it was for girls or ladies or something, he said. And I said, it's okay. I
it
said,
wasn't. It absolutely wasn't.
he's like, but I learned some things. And I was like,
Good,
okay. So he did learn some
good,
things.
good.
So being unstoppable. I have this thing that I say, rise fierce. Every morning you get up, rise fierce. Lead fearlessly. Own your feminine power. Be unstoppable. Be the 1%. When I say the 1%, what does that do to your body? What does that do to your heart, your soul? What does that do?
I mean, everything about it feels like a pull. Like, oh yeah, no, I'm in there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And It's been really, it's been an incredible ride just over the last 3 years of going from, what I thought was my destiny. Like my dad was at IBM for 41 years. So I certainly could have stayed and kept going, and everyone thought I would die there. So the fact that I left and that I've done all these unfamiliar things to me and to my family has been such a great reminder that you can do anything. And, you see celebrities say that, when they've reached the pinnacle of success, you see athletes, talking about mindset and how important that is, but it's really no joke. And, your brain and your body will believe you. So if you say, I'm unstoppable every day, that's how you're going to live. And if you say, I'm scared, or this is hard, or that's exactly how it's going to be. So, talk to yourself with kindness, and the world is your oyster. You just have to set out and go after it.
Yes. So for the woman, the man, whoever's listening and going to be listening, because we're wanting people to really expand. What is one thing that you can tell the audience about when you have those moments where you're saying, yes, I can do this, but there's something in the background that is like, seriously, you remember when that happened?
Oh, yeah.
You remember, how the mind does. It's trying to keep you safe. What do you say to yourself then?
I lean on my personal board of advisors, my PBA. So my PBA is a group of very dear friends who I have met mostly through LinkedIn, mostly through the Outlier Project, of which you are a part of too. And they are people that know me. They kick my ass. They tell me I can do impossible things. And you need those mirrors to set you straight. And when you can't see what's in front of you because of those blocks, that's when you lean on the people who love you and the people who know you. And that's not always your parents, and it's not always your spouse. Sometimes it's people that are in it with you who have been on the same journey. Maybe they're not doing exactly the same thing, but surround yourself with people who make you better and people who are doing it really well. Most people like to give back. I mentor a lot of people.
Yeah, me too.
But I get a lot of joy out of seeing them win. And there's nothing better than, shining the light on somebody. And first of all, it makes you look good when you do that. That's not why you do it. You do it because you want them to feel that joy, that love, that greatness, that achievement and accomplishment. And it's just so great when you can see people you care about doing great things. And I mean that from my heart.
So what's next for your book? What are you doing with the books? There's 2 books now. I didn't know about the other book. But what are you doing now with your books? Are you promoting it? Are you doing tours? What's going on with that?
No tours right now. There will be a whole bunch of events coming with Voices of Women. I think we have an event coming up in March or April. The books are kind of out there. I certainly talk about them. I love when people read them, and the greatest compliment I ever receive, certainly with Top Down Culture, is, Linds, it felt like you were sitting next to me. I could hear your voice so clearly. And that's like, oh, good, because it's my stories. It's stories of great and terrible and everything in between leaders. And so the books are there. They will keep on going, and more to come with that. Really, the big thing that happens every week is the podcast. And that's just been a total labor of love and something I enjoy so much. But you're just like me, or just like you, the ability to share these stories and inspire others, that is something I take really seriously, and I love doing it.
So we're gonna end this with a sentence. We're gonna create something new, a sentence with the unstoppable in it, that word. We're gonna come up with something that's specific for Lyndsay. What would that sentence be that we are going to turn it into a Lyndsay quote?
Ooh.
What would it be?
The only thing keeping you from being unstoppable is your fear.
Yes.
How's that?
Hashtag the only thing that is keeping you from being unstoppable is your fear. World, are you hearing that? You heard
Pretty
it
good.
out. We just came up with something new just for you because we want people to say yes to themselves,
Yeah.
yes to possibilities, yes to just being totally different than you were 5 minutes ago. How else can I help you?
Oh, you know what? Anybody that engages with me on socials, whether you listen to the podcast, whether you buy the book, I love when people buy the book, commenting on podcast episodes, that is huge. Writing reviews for podcast episodes, that's huge. And then if you know any job seekers and that are struggling or any companies that are about to lay people off, I'd love to talk to them because that's where we're going to make a really big impact.
Yes. And guys, in the world, around the world, you have just been touched by two beautiful women. And we hope that this podcast, this recording, is going to do something amazing for you. It certainly has done something amazing for me, from one woman to another. Life gets better when you have wonderful people in your lives. And right at you, my friend, right at you, right at you. Oh, look at those hearts. Did you see those hearts?
Hi, ladies. I have something beautiful for you. It's called the Life Score. I want you to go to my website and check it out. It's a test where we're understanding where our hidden strengths are, where we need some improvement. Here's one thing I know for sure. Every woman deserves to have the life of her dreams, but sometimes there's a few blocks that you need to be aware of so that you can raise yourself to the next level. I want you upscaling in any and every opportunity, because when you improve yourself in a way that is powerful for you, the world becomes your oyster. If you also have enjoyed our videos, enjoyed our podcast, enjoyed us on any platform, please go and subscribe. Please go to Spotify and give us a 5-star review. We really enjoy and appreciate those 5-star moments. Don't forget to go to that website and take the test. Be well, and thank you so much.